Hey guys, how's it going? Colin here. Today we're going to go ahead and start on the S&B Particle Separator install. So you got a couple other goodies in here. Got some of the paddle tires over there. I think the other ones are wrapped up under there, but we'll go over those in a later video. Today is just going to be the start of the S&B filter install and everything you got to do to get that on there. Long story short, we'll have to go ahead, take the back fender apart. Hopefully that rock block will be able to stay on there. That'll come off with it. We'll have to come in here, we'll take the seats out, take the back little firewall out, take the console apart, and we shouldn't have to take the dash apart, but we might try to take the console apart just enough to where we can fish the wires in underneath it, and then we don't have to take it all the way apart. But yep, we're gonna go ahead and start getting this thing torn down and see what it's gonna take to get that bad boy put on there. So I'll see you in a few. Here we are, day 2 of the S&B Particle Separator install. Last night I pretty much just got everything torn down to where I need it to be, to where I can start running the wires and getting all of the new parts back here on. I didn't get the version 2. They actually came out with a new one that would mount up on that top roll bar there. I got the one that kind of tucks right in here in the wheel well. Thought it was kind of cool how it was sleek and kind of out of the way of things, so figured I'd give that one a shot and see how it does. But pretty much just have to get the main part of the separator put up there, run the tube to the air box, and then I actually got the S&B filter, so I will show you guys my stock one after 300 miles and put the new one on. And then all I'll have to do in here is route the cable or the wiring that goes up to the console and then plugs in up to that bus bar. So shouldn't be too bad. I think I'm gonna try to just remove this one side of the console, make it a little bit easier on me, and just kind of fish it through there and not have to take that whole thing apart, because if you guys have taken it apart before, you know that it is not very fun to do. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Still got to unbox all the parts for the filter itself. So we'll go ahead, get all that taken out of there, go over the instructions one more time, and start getting it thrown on here. So here we go. Alrighty, here it all is, guys. So this first part is obviously going to be the air filter. It's a lot bigger actually than the stock one. I don't know if that's necessarily a huge positive. I guess more surface area, but I'm sure it's not going to be noticeable in like power or anything like that. Just a nicer filter. You can clean it, kind of do some maintenance on it. They do recommend only cleaning it about 10 times before you get a new one. Or the stock filter, you kind of just tap out. You can't actually wash it. This right here is kind of the housing for the whole filter, or the separator, I guess I should say. So your intake's back there. Another one on this side, and then the motor will sit right in here, and then the tube will come out the front and go into the air box. This is where the magic happens. So what it does, it'll suck air all through those vents into here, and each one of these little guys, kind of like a vortex. The way I can kind of think of it is like a propeller on a boat, but these don't spin, or these ones right here don't. So it'll suck air through these, and it kind of creates a vortex in here. And then there's a fan, and it'll basically suck all the dust and shoot it out here. And then all the clean air will get pulled in here, out this tube, and come into the air box. Pretty slick design. I've seen pretty good things about it. Some people have issues, but I think some of it might just be installation, making sure all your seals are on there right, and everything's kind of mating up how it should. So I'm gonna take my time, make sure all those seals are good, and hopefully not have to have any issues with it or take anything apart. Here is kind of the intake tube. So if you didn't know, the 2020 Pros actually had an issue with these tubes, which mine, being a 21, has the upgraded one, so it's hard plastic. But the 20s had an issue where they would collapse under high boost. So the S&B filter kind of replaces that with a nice hard plastic. So that'll pretty much just go right into here, and that goes to the air box. Got the instructions, sticker, that adds 5 horsepower, and then all of the mounts, little clamps, all the wiring, more of the tube clamps, seals, and that's about it. So we're gonna go ahead and start getting the install on this going, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. I forgot to mention on yesterday's part of taking all of this apart, it really doesn't take that long. I'd say maybe 5-10 minutes. It's just a few push pins, some Torx bits or some Torx screws, and a little bit of pulling here and there, and it snaps all right off. I guess it's nice for installing stuff, but it is kind of annoying for if you like roll the machine or whatever, just with how everything's snapped together. It's not the most durable razor, but it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and start getting the install on this and see how it goes. Okay, so now we've got the housing kind of in place there. There's a bracket that goes right in here, and it'll bolt into a factory spot right up in there. There's this bracket here. It'll go back and bolt right back into there. We've got this one here that is attached to the back of the housing. I guess you can't, somewhere in there. Or no, that one attaches down below. And then onto here. So then now all we have to do is take this original bracket, which goes right into here, and we'll have to slide this kind of in underneath of this bracket, and that's what'll hold the fender, or that inner part of the cargo area, on. So we'll get this put on. We'll get this piece right up here bolted back in, and the housing will be almost secured. And then we'll pretty much just have to put the motor on, the tube, and get the wiring done. So go ahead and get that knocked out. Okay guys, I'm gonna give you a quick little update here on this install. It is a pain in the butt. I got it to this point, even with 2 people, it's still causing me issues. In the video and instructions, they tell you to tighten all of these screws that hold the housing on. I'm telling you now, I don't think that's gonna be possible. I'm trying to put the motor on here, getting these 4 holes to line up with the top of the motor is next to impossible, while you're also trying to push this gasket in here. I hear a lot of people complaining with this style filter that a lot of dust has been getting in and their air box is actually filthy. This is definitely the step that is causing that issue. I guarantee you people are getting frustrated and just throwing the motor on there, and then there's a gap in this seal somewhere. 100%. I guarantee you that's where people are having issues. I mean, I'm just gonna start loosening stuff and trying to get it all lined up, and maybe use a screwdriver to push this gasket down in there how it's supposed to be. But yeah, it is a pain in the butt. I'm gonna keep trying here, try to get it started. I had 2 of these screws, or 2 of these bolts lined up with the seal lined up correctly, but the other 2 weren't even close. So I'm gonna try again, see if I can get it mounted up. At this point, even without even seeing the filter run, I would just, if you have a Pro, go ahead and get the version 2 that just mounts to the roll bar, because it's a cool design, but I don't think the engineers that designed it were the ones that actually have put one on the machine. So just a little food for thought. I'm gonna keep trying here and get back with you. I'll go ahead and give a quick update here. So we got the separator on finally. Honestly, I made it sound worse than it really is. If you take your time and get it lined up real well, it's kind of easy to get lined up. The main thing I found, or the way I decided to do it, is loosen these 2 bolts, this bolt, and then the one way up in here for this top bracket. If you have those loose, you can get this pushed on real well, lined up, and then start going back and getting it all secured. You just really want to be careful with this seal here, that it's sealed all the way around. Even get underneath and check back there just to make sure it's all really well sealed up and good. Then, which the instructions don't tell you this, but I did it, it's in the video, to route your cable that's coming out of your motor up and over the tube. And then when you come in here, I zip tied it right onto here, onto this part of the frame. And then this cable that's coming from the sensor back there, I just zip tied it onto there, another one there, and then I just drilled a couple holes in this piece of plastic in here just to kind of bunch up my harness, get it all kind of out of the way. I might end up wrapping these just so they don't get coated in mud, but they're kind of protected right in here, so they should be out of the way. And then I just routed the harness up across here and then in through the console, and it actually made it pretty easy. If you just take out all of these screws, you can pull this panel out enough to where then up in here, which I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, you can see where that red wire is. There's a little bit of a hole up in the front, and you can fish it through there and then just kind of wedge it on in there. And then you don't have to take the whole console apart, you just take those screws out. So that's how I did it. And then it plugs into one of your plugs in there. And then that's pretty much it. It is pretty much all installed now. So all I need to do is get the plastic hook back on it and it'll be good to go. Here is my stock filter. Sorry if there's a bunch of wind noise, it's kind of windy out today, but there is actually quite a bit of dust. I didn't think it was that bad looking at it, but then I looked at the inside on how blue it is, and I'm like, wow, it is pretty dusty. And a couple taps and you can see it all coming out. So definitely a little dusty in there, and that's only after 300 miles. So we'll see how the new filter looks. We're heading to the dunes here in a month, so we'll see what it looks like after that and get some more miles on it and see how well that separator works. So get this all put back together and get it out and test drive it. So here it is, guys. I got it all installed and all the plastics back on it. All in all, I'd say it probably takes a couple hours, 2-3 hours maybe. It helps if you got someone with you to kind of help you hold some plastic or move it out of the way and kind of just help you along the way. Feel like your hands never hurts. Like I said, it's all on there now and it does work. I gave it a little test drive, ran it around the block, and you can definitely hear the fan kicking on at higher RPM, so it's pretty cool. It tucks in there really nicely. The only thing with my rock blocks, it does not quite fit in here. I was going to cut it, but I decided just to kind of bend it a little bit, and it's not too tight in there, so it shouldn't be a big deal. I wouldn't think it would rub through the intake tube there, so I'm going to leave it like that for now, and if we have an issue with it, I'll figure out something. But I'll go ahead and turn it on so you guys can kind of hear how quiet, or see if you can even hear the fan just when it's on right now. The old S&B filters, they were full blast right away, so this is definitely an improvement from that style. Sorry about that. As soon as I turn on the RZR or my phone connected to Bluetooth, then it stopped recording. But I don't know if you can hear that fan running, but it's in there. It's running, but it is pretty hard to hear, so it's kind of neat. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. And if not, I'd appreciate if you like and subscribe and stay along for the next video. I'm going to kind of talk about the whips I've got, and then my paddle tire setup, and then it'll be ready for the dunes. So stick around and come along for the ride. Thank you.